And you'll see several of these type of videos floating around that YouTube because this is a hotly contested topic of discussion, not just in the media, but apparently between both principal parties, between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. Ding, 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 ding. Or as I like to deem it, Jerry versus the salary cap part 3. As we are now in the third installation of the recent Jerry Jones versus salary cap with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and now we're at the Micah Parsons iteration. But this one has gone further in turn, not necessarily in length, but in acrimony, because Micah went full notes app. And generally, you should never go full notes app.
No.
But at this one, I was like, you know what? The guy might got a point.
Shouldn't go full notes app. I didn't know that.
Well, because and I say that kind of in jest, but honestly, and I saw some people kind of speculating, do you think that Micah wrote this whole thing? And then people kind of
Micah can't write. He graduated from Penn State.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Do you think Micah wrote the whole thing? And I thought, and I don't say this to make light of it, I think he absolutely did. Because there was some like grammatical mistakes that you would make if you were like shooting off a text message, right? Yeah. That I should say more mistakes, more grammatical I'm not really caring about.
I'm firing this off. I got to get this off my chest.
I'm getting this off of my chest. It's like this is from the heart. And it tracks to me in a way because Micah Parsons, since joining the Cowboys, has been star on the chest. I am a Dallas Cowboy.
Favorite team coming up.
Through and through. I'm a fan of the Cowboys, and I love being a Cowboy, and has been, for lack of a better term, an ambassador for the Cowboys throughout his rookie deal. And in the note that he put out on Twitter Friday, he said he approached Jerry 2 years ago for a deal, no interest. I can get that from the Cowboys side. We got to take care of our quarterback. We got to take care of our wide receiver. Says he approached again in last offseason. Say, hey, okay, I get it. We got to take care of our. You're next, right? You're coming up. You're down the line. We got you.
Time.
When it's your turn, we'll take care of you. Well, now it's his turn.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how I know it's his turn? Because when you go to the Wikipedia page of his draft and you look down the list, there'll be a little cross that says Pro Bowl, right, next to the guys who make the Pro Bowl. Everybody in the first round who's made the Pro Bowl on that list is now on their second contract, except for Micah Parsons, who arguably is the best or second best or third best player out of that class.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know it's time. That's how Micah knows his time, and that's how, most importantly of all, apparently, David Mulugeta knows his time, who is a man who I know, not personally, but you know how I know?
How do you know?
It was when J.C. Horn signed his deal. Because I look back, I said, dog, because all the insiders now, of course, they have to tell, by David Mulugeta, athletes first, or by Bill Duffy, CAA, or whoever, by whomever. David Mulugeta gets his numbers. Almost every one of his clients gets something. J.C. Horn, highest paid this. Stingley, highest paid that. Most guaranteed this, most guaranteed that. There's a framework of that deal, and you look at it, you're like, yo, damn. It kind of honestly reminds me of when Rich Paul started moving through the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, yo, who got what? And I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it's like, damn. And it's like, oh, David is cracking heads.
He's over there cracking. He's making it happen. And
so with all of that, you take what Jerry said just recently, and I was gobsmacked when I heard somebody who has this much experience in this business respond to reports and questions about this in this way.
Let's talk about the negotiations real quick. It's my understanding nothing was put in writing. So how would you describe a deal getting, so to speak, done and then walked away from?
I bought the Dallas Cowboys with a handshake. Took about 30 seconds, and I gave the number, shook hands. The details we worked out later. As a matter of fact, one of the details involved a lot of money, and we had to flip a coin over that. But the fundamental, I'm buying, and you're going to sell it to me for that range, that's done. And those are done with eye contact and handshake.
So was there...
So just so you understand why the way that I communicate with people that I negotiate with. So but let's leave it at that. There is no question that in the case of a player contract, you have to have it in writing. All parties do. We have a contract in writing, yet we're still talking about renegotiating it. So much for that.
So, Bucky, let me ask you. Fundamentally, as Jerry said, the fundamental part of that deal, who's off here? Because to me, it sounds like the old man, 100%.
I don't know if it sounds like the old man is off. It sounds like he thought that he had a handshake agreement. Hey, this is what it's going to be. It'll be like around this much. If you go with this, like we'll get it done. We'll take care of the particulars later. Loop your agent in, and yada yada yada. And now there've been a few other deals that have gone down that have changed the money for those guys. T.J. Watt, well over $40 million. Micah wants to make sure he's in that or above that ballpark, that range, that figure. So maybe it put a pause on what he was ready to agree to because the numbers changed. When you're Jerry Jones, and I'll say this, maybe the Cowboys aren't as high on Micah, the personality, as they are the player. And when you give a strong personality like that the money, now you give him a platform where not that he hijacks the franchise, but he becomes the unquestioned leader of the team, where you want him to be the leader or the representative of the team or not.
This is the first I've heard of this. Like obviously I consume a ton. This is a fascinating angle I had not considered one bit.
So here's where you have to go back to. Go back to, remember, Micah Parsons was the 12th overall pick in the draft class.
Yeah.
When we look back at the names that went ahead of him, you're like, they got to go ahead of him. Where there was some conversation about him, not moral character, but just football character, personality.
Yeah, he's kind of.
How does he fit? He's loud. He's boisterous. You've seen it. Yeah, he's all that. Like he can be a lot.
You're not worried about him in society, but in your locker room,
he can be a lot.
Sure.
And you've seen him be like, he has podcasts, he has all this other stuff, whatever. And so you have to be ready to deal with that. And a lot of times in league circles, in locker room circles, they say whatever the person is, it's going to be times 10 when you give him a bag. And so when you give him the bag and you give him all of that, well, this now mushrooms and escalates and become an even bigger personality in that locker room. And are you okay with that? And if you're not okay with it, then you do what the Cowboys are doing. You slow play this out because there's no leverage for Micah Parsons when it comes to holding out in those things, right?
Sure.
Like that CBA made it where it's prohibitive for someone to hold out. So if the Cowboys try to dribble this out, what recourse does Micah have?
Well, because to the point, he's already committed. He's already shown up. So he can't. If he goes home for longer than 5 days, then basically he's right back in the situation he's in again next year.
He's right back. So
what are you going to? Is it going to be Chris Jones sitting up there with the Goodfellas on Sunday Night Football a couple years ago? Like, is that what he's going to do? Like, there's really not much he can.
And Chris told everybody it cost him a lot of money.
Right.
He didn't get that money back even when he did his deal. So that's the thing. So okay, so he's stuck. So he has to play this out. Well, even then, he's like, okay, I'll just play the deal out and I'll be free. No, you won't, because now we put your franchise tag on you. Oh, I'll play that out. Oh, we put another one on you. So now they've held him up for 3 years on his bag.
And the first-year franchise tag would not be that. It would be pretty comparable to what he's making on his rookie deal because
it's not crazy.
The average is not – the top is high, but the average is not.
Right.
That second franchise tag would be pretty –
120% over what it is.
Would be big, but then, yeah.
It would be big, but then the Cowboys would be like, yeah, but we got you now. So they still kind of have him. And there was conversation in the past about would the Cowboys trade him? Are they looking to trade him? All those other things. It just appears to me – now, the Cowboys drag their feet with everybody. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. Whenever it comes time to pay, they drag their feet.
But this is what makes this one feel different to me, respectfully. I did not hear no reports about how Jerry Jones was like, what's his name? Tyler Italy or Todd France, who's Dak's agent. Like, I didn't hear none of okay, so I get you. But, no, Dak, Todd Francis CAA, went and called Jerry Jones, and sure, Did the deal drag out? Absolutely. I'm sure if we subpoenaed the phone records, there's probably multiple phone calls back and forth between the Frisco, Texas, and wherever the hell Todd France works at. But from all the reporting we've heard about this one, apparently the Cowboys and David Mulugeta got each other on block because they're not calling each other. Nobody's talking to nobody.
I mean, we're not talking right now. We're just trying to figure it out. Like 18 months, we haven't really engaged in the discussion. At some point, they'll get to the table and they'll talk and they'll figure out what needs to be done. But right now, I think Jerry enjoys the sport of negotiation. I don't know if you've ever been out with someone who just loves to argue. They just love to like box back and forth. Like, or one of your homeboys love to box. Just bro, like we don't have to argue about everything. I feel like Jerry Jones is that guy. He loves it. Like he feeds off of like the negotiation. And at the end of the deal, like if he squeezes out $1 more out of you that he can walk away happy. I feel like this is the kind of negotiation that's going to be very contentious until it gets done, and then eventually get done.
Okay, so this is the thing then. What does he like more, negotiations or winning Super Bowls? Because I don't understand how what he's doing right now. Now, it's one thing if you're dragging out negotiations throughout the channels in which negotiations are always dragged out. Mm-hmm. It's another thing entirely to me to go and whether or not Micah Parsons was actually circumvented, he sure as hell feels like he was.
Feels like.
Right? And so if it's a lie, we fight on that lie. Right at this point. Like, he feels like he was. And David Mulugeta, from what I can tell, you want to talk about somebody who enjoys negotiations, because I feel like it seems like every GM walks out of there like, damn, I need to make sure I still have the same amount of blood in my body that I did when I walked in here. Like, Jerry going straight to Micah and intimating that he had some handshake deal. Sure, deals like that get made all of the time.
Yep.
However, it's almost like Jerry forgot the asterisk he put on the end. We'll figure out the particulars later, right? This is later. These are the particulars. Like, that's what I'm not understanding. Like,
that's what he is. He loves this. He loves the theater of it all. But you know what he really loves? The fact that you and I continue to talk about the brand, the Cowboys brand, and all conversation in their mind is great conversation. All attention is good attention because it only enhances the brand. And remember this about the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they'll pay their stars, but they don't pay anybody else, right? They have a lot of cash that they keep on the books. It is a $10 billion operation when it comes to, I mean, it's the most valued franchise in sports. The brand is big for a team that hasn't done anything in 30 years.
Honestly, I think that you're actually shortchanging them, because if the Lakers sold for $10 billion,
the Cowboys,
the valuation for the Cowboys, if Jerry Jones wanted to sell them, he'd be able to buy a continent, right? Like not a country, a continent.
But that's in that. And they enjoy the business of it. Like, I had a chance to look at America's Sweethearts, like the Cowboy cheerleader doc, and you kind of see it on Netflix. You see how they move. The brand is real. I think he realizes that, and while they're engaged in this conversation with Micah, like, they just have to make sure, hey, do you want to do this?
That's the thing that just drives me nuts, because having the conversation with Micah is one thing and one thing entirely. But as we've seen, Micah Parsons was willing to have conversations for the last 3 years. And now, okay, maybe they're talking to him, like the conversation at some point, at least it was reported early in this offseason that they were having a conversation. But, like, Micah is not the person who's doing the negotiations. Like, that's not the person you got to work out the particulars with. That's the person who signs off. The person you work out the particulars with is the agent. It's a clunky analogy, but I'm getting married on Saturday, right?
Congratulations.
Thank you. I asked her dad, for her hand in marriage.
Yeah, that's right.
But that wasn't who I had to work out the particulars with.
Who'd you work out the particulars with?
Her.
You just couldn't skip her and go to dad like, hey, Dad and I got it worked out, so this was
me and him shook hands, looked at each other in the eye, had a handshake agreement, but then I had to go and work out the particulars. We had to go figure it all out. I don't understand what Jerry's missing here, because it seems like it's very, very logical.